Now, the days of a traditional 2.4 children family appear to be long gone. New figures from the Office of National Statistics are predicting that just in a few years' time, more than 50% of babies will be born to unmarried parents or single mums. Last year, nearly half of all babies in England and Wales were born to mothers who were not married or in a civil partnership. That's up from 25% in 1988 and just 11% back in 1979. Now, if the trend continues at this rate, more than half of children will be born out of wedlock by the year 2016, so just in a few years' time. Joining me now to have a chat about this in more detail is the parenting expert Liz Fraser, who's a panel member of the Centre for the Modern Family. We're also joined by Andrea Williams, CEO of Christian Concern. It's great to have you both on the programme tonight. Liz, let's start with you. Does this trend concern you?
No, not really at all. All that concerns me is that children are happy, that they're healthy, and that they're being brought up in an environment which makes them thrive in the best possible way. And the research that was done by the Centre for the Modern Family back in 2011, actually, the first report that they did, which I authored for them, found that the modern family, the setup of the modern families we're finding today as well, is completely different to how it was. And actually, that bears very little direct correlation with how happy and how successful, if you like, in life children are. What children need is something stable. They need stability. They need consistency, and they need unconditional love to know that they are loved and supported. In the statistics that we're talking about tonight, what we really need to see is how that breaks down into unmarried people who live together for a very long time in that way, and unmarried people who are having a baby here and a baby there with different people. The two things are completely different, actually.
OK, Andrea, let's bring you in here. I mean, maybe we have to get worried about here. Maybe the institution of marriage is something that was applicable 50, 100 years ago, and it's just not relevant these days.
No, marriage really works. Stability, consistency, unconditional love. Marriage is about much more than just a man and a woman promising to stay with one another. It's about promising then to have children with one another and to raise and keep those children secure within that beautiful institution, an institution that we should cherish.
So why is it dying out, do you think? Why do you think that actually the first time ever married couples are in the minority in this country?
I think that we're seeing a state implosion, in a sense. We're seeing, I think, something quite critical happening at the heart of our society. Family breakdown last year cost the state £44 billion. That's huge. That's an absolutely massive statistic. And how could we save that money? We could save that money by actually promoting once again the idea that when people enter into marriage, they are to stay there, to really cherish it. You've got to go back to the 1970s when we began to talk about no-fault divorce, people being able to go in and out of relationships. And there we began to see the cost and the impact of not valuing marriage as we should.
I was going to say, I mean, you're talking to someone here who's been with one partner for 20 years and married for nearly 17, so I'm firmly on that side of the fence. However, I think what we're looking at is not an implosion and not a moral, dissolve or anything like that. Perhaps we're just looking at a society that says, actually, I don't need this. I don't actually need this to be in a loving, stable relationship. And also, we know that there are many people from previous generations who lived in fairly loveless, fairly unhappy marriages for a very, very long time. Okay,
what's worse, Andrea?
And that's actually very bad.
What do you think is worse for a family or for children?
Actually cherishing the marriage commitment, the covenant vow, something that we seem to have lost, really cherishing that is absolutely vital. And, there is a reality, again, in terms of statistics, that people that have got children, Jubilee Centre, 2010, when the children are aged 15, 97% of parents that are still together are actually married. Not cohabiting, but actually married.
And do you know why? Because, in fact, I was on a television programme only this morning discussing why people stay together. It's very sad, but the two greatest reasons why couples who are no longer in love stay together are, number one, financial. They simply cannot afford to split up. And number two, sort of practical. They wouldn't have anywhere to live, etc., in terms of children here, there and everywhere. It's not actually because of love, and it's not actually because of vows.
Very often when people stay through the tough times, they can work through the tough times, and children do very well.
And marriage is a very good thing for making that happen. Most people go through problems in their marriage, and those who are married do go that extra mile to stay together, which is a good thing.
And we think MPs are pushing this, certainly some Conservative MPs, because they want tax breaks, they want more support for married couples. Is that fair, do you think, Liz, very briefly to you? Because, you know, single parents and cohabiting parents won't get that.
To be honest, I can't possibly make an argument to say that that's fair, no. And nor can I make an argument to say that, you know, if you're married, it's because you want to have children. No, it's not. You have to commit to somebody, whether there's a ring around your finger or not.
Very briefly,
Andrea?
Andrea?
Do we as a society care about the family? Do we care about marriage? The answer has to be yes. We need to promote it. Another Centre for Social Justice report showed that children in a non-married relationship or where there is breakdown fare terribly badly at school.
Thank you very much for joining us both tonight.